Hello again, everybody. It's Todd Staruch, the horror nerd, here at the first ever Atlantic City Celebrity Convention. I am having a blast today, walking the convention, getting to speak to all of the celebrity guests. Just the best time so far, and it's about to get even better because I have the pleasure of standing here with Enid herself from The Walking Dead, Miss Katelyn Nacon.
Yeah.
I got it right.
You got it.
Second name today, I got right.
Love it.
Katelyn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm having fun. It's been a blast.
Me too.
Yeah.
And look, if nothing else, it's a weekend in Atlantic City.
I know.
Is this your first time in Atlantic City?
Yeah. My dad's from Jersey, but I've never made it out here. Obviously, yeah, because I wasn't 21. Why would I be here, you know?
Look, there's a lot of people out on the beach, right?
Yeah,
you don't
I know.
have to gamble. You don't have to be degenerate like me and gamble, you know?
Yeah.
So, look, I'm going to lead with it because you were a central character on one of the biggest shows of all time. Does it surprise you that the longevity and popularity that the show continues to have?
No, like, not at all. I mean, I guess it can be surprising sometimes when it's like I haven't been on it in so many years, and the fact that it's still going can be like a little jarring time-wise, but people love the show, you know what I mean? And I think if they're willing to watch, like, people are going to keep making it, you know? It's a huge fandom, and they're very committed, so
Exactly.
It doesn't surprise me.
It was must-watch TV. I will tell you that, for me especially. So a lot of the show is very, very physical, you know, and grueling. So how would you prepare yourself for some of those action scenes?
I mean, luckily, any like major action scenes, like me climbing over the wall and stuff like that, they would always have a stunt double. So I got to sit out on that one. And as for the heat, like it would just be so hot and humid all the time. But I grew up in Georgia where we filmed, so I was used to that at least. So I think I was bred for it. You know, I was ready to go.
Fantastic. So this heat here in New Jersey is like
it's nothing. It's nothing compared to that humidity. Oh, it was tough. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I can barely handle walking up the boardwalk.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like big shows like The Walking Dead, I always like to ask the actors this question. Do you have a memorable story or anecdote from set that you could share with us?
Oh, let me think. It's been so long now.
I know. I see it. Sometimes it's a stumper. I get it. I'm sorry.
No, every day was great. It was just such a great show to be on, and all the people were fantastic. I remember just finding out I got the part was a very interesting story, because we went in and we did a callback, and they asked me to meet with a child psychiatrist. So they basically wanted to make sure that if a kid got on the show, they wouldn't.
If I may ask, how old were you when you auditioned?
I think I might have just turned 15. I was either 14 or I had just turned 15.
Gotcha.
So I met with a child psychologist, and then I remember, I think it was maybe like a couple days later, my dad got a call at like 8 p.m. We were watching a movie, and they asked us to go to a Starbucks to take a psychiatrist test. So I had to answer a bunch of questions. It took like hour and a half, 2 hours at like 8 p.m. on a random day. And then halfway through the test, my dad got the call that I had gotten the part, and I had no clue. And so 2 hours later, after answering questions like, have you ever thought about killing people? He pulled me to the side and he was like, hey, I got news to tell you. And I was like, oh no, I'm so tired. Please let me go home. I want to finish the movie. And then he told me, I found out, and I cried for like an hour. Yeah. So it was an interesting process getting picked for it, for sure.
Yeah,
but it was a smart one, though, to make sure that it didn't affect kids in a negative manner, you know?
Yeah. You're going to be on a show about zombies munching on people and humans shooting each other. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You know? You're gonna be messed up forever because of it? It's
exactly.
Interesting. So, Katelyn, is acting something you had always wanted to do from an early age?
No, when I was a little kid, I really enjoyed singing and dancing. And so that was my main thing. I really loved singing, and I ended up going and doing musical theater, and I did not understand the acting aspect at all. I even did like a on-screen acting class when I was 9, and I completely froze when it came to my part. And I was like, well, I'm never doing that again. And then a few years later, I ended up taking another like on-screen acting class, and I remember something just clicked into place, and I was like, oh, this is what I love. And the more I did it, the more I fell in love with it, and it just made so much sense.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. What are you working on these days? You got anything new you can tell us about?
Yeah, I just recently finished a film called Hacked that Chandler Riggs is also in,
cool.
by the way. My friend Shane Brady, he wrote and directed it, and he's in the process of editing it right now. So that will be coming out soon, hopefully in the future. And then there's a few other movies, Linoleum, Devil's Peak, and Southern Gospel, all movies that I've done since the show.
Hey,
Yeah.
very cool. One final question. If there was one piece of advice you could give to young, up-and-coming actors wanting to get into the business, what advice would you give them?
Eric Lingval, one of my old acting coaches, he used to say this all the time. He would say, do your best and forget the rest, which is really big when you're in the acting industry because there's a lot of rejection. And so all you can do is genuinely go in there for an audition or whatever it is, go in there, do your best, have fun, and then forget about it. Do not dwell on it. Like, just do it in order to love the craft. Because if you do it to get the job, if you do it for validation, you're not going to find that. You know what I mean? That's just the truth of it. So just do it because you love it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. Katelyn, thank you so much for a few minutes of your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
It's a pleasure talking to you.
I love the show, and like I always tell everybody, I'm just a fan at heart who gets to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like talking to people like you who
I
are on
love
some
it.
of my favorite shows. So
I love it.
Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you.
Katelyn Nacon, everybody, here at the Atlantic City Celebrity Convention. This is Todd Starucci signing off. We will see all of you in the next interview.